I wouldn't say I'm financially free yet. I think you have to have a lot of money to be financially free. In my head, financial freedom is like you have disposable money and you don't have to think twice about anything. But I kind of talked about this on live last night. My journey in being self-employed, it's a long one. It's definitely overlaps with like trauma, like through my upbringing and stuff. I grew up broke, which a lot of people do, and that I think that scares the average person enough into being like, all right, gotta figure something out like when you're very young. So that was a big part of it. I was like very aware of the fact that we did not have moolah, and I'm equal parts upset but grateful for that. That was the main thing, is that I used to live in Florida, and when we moved from Florida to Connecticut, we like immediately had a nosedive into financial issues because of a bunch of stuff going on in my family. So it was a big stressor. It was like one of the main reasons my parents got divorced. So I was very hyper aware of it. I heard the word like bankruptcy and stuff definitely a little too young. But so from a very young age, I was like, I didn't know what entrepreneur was. I obviously didn't know that word yet, but like I think it also just is in me. Like part of me was like just is like a hustler a little bit. One of the first things I ever did on the playground was, did I say this last night? I would sell little tinfoil balls that were like scrunched up, like tinfoil, literally just in the shape of a tiny little ball. And I would sell them and call them foilies. And I sold them as like this. The catch was like, oh, it's a little like it, you know, when you're a kid, you give everything a personality, right? Like you like cling to something, probably not a piece of tape, but like you cling to an inanimate object and you like give it a name and a personality. So I would sell these little foil walls and say like, oh, this one's named this and this one's this personality. And it was just tinfoil, but people would buy it for $0.25. And then I added on to that and I started selling these little fluff balls. You would know them if you saw them. They're like, you know, an arts and crafts fluff ball. And I put little googly eyes on them. And those were 50 cents. Those are for the heavy hitters. And I also had a process. There was a giant Fisher Price like toy playground house on our school playground, and obviously there was a bunch of people that didn't have quarters and couldn't like actually buy this shit. So I had, oh, his name was Dave, he was my friend in elementary school, and I had Dave running the window of the Fisher Price playground house, and he would sit at the window, and we'd had like this system where people that didn't have quarters would have to, instead of 25 cents, they'd give him 25 wood chips. And there was some like barter system there where like if they gave him wood chips, he would give me $0.25 to cover their I don't know. So it was interesting. I also sold guys, like I'm remembering so many weird things. They're little fragrance balls. They're like, they look like boba. They're little fragrance balls and they come in like a jelly container. I don't know if people buy them as much anymore. I feel like they were bigger back then in like 2006 or something, 2008. And I used to take the jar. My grandma actually got really mad at me because I took it from my grandma's house, from my grandma's bathroom. She had like it in there. I don't even think I knew what it was. I don't think I knew it was like for a cent. And what did I do with them? Maybe I didn't sell those. I just remember giving them to people. Like, noted, I was fucking weird. This isn't like, oh, I was just so smart from a young age. Like, I was also weird. So I think it just overlapped with helping me a little bit financially at that age. I don't even know. You know what sucks too? I forgot. I made like a few $100s when I was younger too, and then my dad helped me put it in a bank account, and I don't think I ever got access to that bank account. I think we put it in a high yield savings account, and I don't think I ever got that shit back. But I was a little hustler baby from a young age, for surezies. And it's still in me. But okay, and as far as like a genuine story of how that was not what you were asking. You were asking me how I got into it. So I would say